character. It's a character that's on a lot of people's minds, but Bowser Jr. is another character who has been up and coming, only rising in the ranks as Ultimate has lived on. But let me tell you, if there's one thing for certain, is that this is going to be an unusual set, as we can see here, even in the first moments. We're just throwing our entire cartoon arsenal at one another, huh?
There's a lot of projectiles going to be coming out. We're going to have that Mecha Koopa coming out sooner than later, I'm sure. The cans in play, you've got the Gunman out. Especially on PS2, that naturally requires more zoning with projectiles. That's going to be a lot of how this game goes until we get to those higher percents where we need to look for a smash attack. We need to look for that Bowser Jr. back air. It's going to be just kind of a minefield across the stage for a while. And already have Duck on here at 100%, so Bowser Jr. with a lot of strong kill options, especially that forward smash you like to see a lot at the ledge. But we need to get Duck up there before we can start throwing those out.
Absolutely. Now we're on center. The Wild Gunman has been set up, but now Ashton is on the ledge here, almost getting killed by that Bowser Jr. Rapid Jab. That is one of the strongest Rapid Jabs in the entire game, one of the only ones that is a solid stock-taking option. Now Wendy dropping down the Koopa cart, and it's going to be untechable for Ashton, losing their first stock here.
And yeah, so far the projectile war has definitely been dominated by Grizhawk, but he's also getting this grab confirmed really quick percent, 67 already tacked on, but going to be looking for that side B confirmed, just does not get that smash attack finisher on it. So now needs to find that last big hit, which Duck Hunt can really struggle to at these higher percents.
Absolutely. Sometimes you really need to find some sort of combo or follow-up or setup into a projectile or out of a projectile. Either into it with Can or out of it with Clay Pigeon. Now we see Grizhawk taking center stage, avoiding Can, and throwing out another neutral B. They've used a lot of neutral B in this game so far. I wonder if that's a character-specific thing or a player-specific thing. But Ashton, like I was talking about earlier, found a setup into a projectile and took Grizhawk's first stock here. Now Wendy Koopa is on the hunt, trying to seal out this stock off of Ashton right now. Playing on the ledge a little bit. You've got Can you got to watch out for. Doesn't quite hit the out-of-cart hammer. Now it's Ashton who's finding some hits here, starting to even out the deficit that they found themselves in.
Oh, getting the neutral B kill off the side too. Duck Hunt just sitting duck, for lack of a better way of saying it, off stage in that situation. No hitbox on that up B, but getting back to work here. So many side Bs coming out. Quick 50 off of a number of those Frisbees.
That is a great move to combo into itself. The different variants of Clay Pigeon all synchronized together in order to deliver a devastating combo. And with up smash out of shield into up air, Grizhawk is almost going to be losing their second stock here. Ashton trying to make that a certainty. Finding the Mecha Koopa on the platform. Now Grizhawk taking cover underneath it, looking for the up airs, finds the second one. Ooh, almost got the out-of-cart fair. Ashton was luckily able to air dodge out of the way just in time, and Grizhawk landed on Can. Now we're returning to a somewhat semblance of neutral here, hitting the Can back at Ashton. Now Ashton's the one kind of nearing ledge, but Grizhawk almost going to die to nearly anything here, especially on the ledge, throwing out more projectiles. The two of them are really going for this chip damage here, where Grizhawk wants to make this stock last as long as they possibly can. Hits the soft fair into the Can, and now Ashton trying to fade back with projectiles and Gunman to please steal out this stock, Ashton is saying.
And we were talking about earlier that just wasn't a whole lot of Mecha Koopa being used, but all of a sudden as that game was going on, we were starting to see it dropped out to interrupt those cans. Saw it in disadvantage there and kind of reversed with the situation and getting that drop down there. They kill off the side pretty early on Duck Hunt to steal out what was a late 2 stock.
It feels so wrong seeing Wendy Koopa's win animation. She just stares with a certain deadness in her eyes, as to where you know she's never felt joy. Where she wakes up every day and her first thought isn't, it's going to be a good day, it's how can I make everyone else's day worse. Wendy Koopa is just that kind of girl.
That's kind of the Koopalings in a nutshell, too. Also, they just look so disproportionate in their win screens in this game. Junior looks fine. The other ones, they just look like kind of stubby.
I guess. Here we go, launching on to game 2 here. It's Ashton who's finding the early percents here. Starts to rack it on with Can and up airs. Here we go, tries to knock Grizhawk off stage, but Grizhawk not gonna, succumb to it just yet. Tries to get the F smash on the ledge to hopefully try and get back into this game here. But Ashton, a complete reversal from this game one. Now they're the one with the early lead here over Grizhawk. It's just a question of whether or not they can seal out the stock before Grizhawk makes up that deficit. That was the main thing that sealed Ashton's fate in that game one, was their inability to find the closer. And now with 72 on the board, Grizhawk is almost, to evening up this game. They're off stage here now. They're in disadvantage still. But with some super armor on the side B, we're returning to neutral here. And now it's a question of who's going to find that first kill.
And getting that early percent lead in a projectile war like this is so important, because now you get to sit back and space around their projectiles. They need to come to you. And so getting that last meaningful hit is a lot easier when they have to force their way onto your side. Where you're seeing, forcing that jump in, covering with that up air, and now you get to play around your own can just to get that last big hit. Also, those gunmen coming out just to mess up the timing for Grizhawk. But Grizhawk just not able to find that meaningful opening that he needs to get back into the lead in this game.
And Ashton not able to find that meaningful closer until the up air. Now Ashton officially a stock up in this game, but Grizhawk able to find the back air, which is going to even it right back up. Now we're basically where we started. We're returning to a semblance of neutral here, but Grizhawk's going to jump in, get the combo broken by Clay Pigeon and Can. A frame one option out of disadvantage, much like Snake Grenade, but still Grizhawk in the juggle situation here, racking up the percent on Ashton, tries to get a out of cart fair and will hit it on the ledge. And just like that, even though the first stock took so long to find, the second stock is gone just like that. And now Ashton's position in this game has been completely reversed. At first, they were the one who was in the power position, but now they are the one on the back foot who needs to find something explosive or slow the pace down so that they can begin to chip their way back into this game.
But now, you're again, reversal of that first stock where now you have to force the issue in with your slow committal projectiles. That jab may very well take it. It does off the side at 120%. So a similar situation by the end of that game where the lead just slowly grew for Grizhawk. He started getting those consistent grab confirms at low percent to build that lead and doesn't even lose that second stock there. And especially with how heavy the Koopalings are, it's tough for Duck Hunt to take those stocks.
Yeah, for sure. Ashton's main problem has been closing. It's what sealed their fate in Game 1, and it's what sealed their fate in Game 2 as well. Not the fact that Ashton couldn't rack up the percent. The percent came naturally through Ashton's good zoning game and excellent advantage state. The main problem Ashton's facing that they need to fix post-haste if they have any chance to win this set is finding those key openings that will seal the stocks, and seal them early, because it has been proven 2 games in a row that if you give Grizhawk the opportunity to make a comeback, they will.
A similar sort of game too, getting to work here, a lot of really early percent with those frisbee confirms, but now need to force Grizhawk into the corner, get him off stage so you can steal out these stocks with the smash attack, with that can, going for those up airs here.
It is precisely what I've been saying. We hit the 30-second mark and you've done 140%. Now, close it out. And if you can't, I mean, say goodbye to the set, because this has really been the deciding factor in the previous 2 games. Grizhawk now has so much rage, and you're able to find it with the can. That is the first time that Ashton is able to actually find that stock and hold on to still a good lead, not lose their stock immediately afterward. We're going to see if this still holds true and if Ashton can extend the lead, because if they can, I think that will be very fortuitous towards a game win, putting yourself on the board in this set.
I love the use of the can there just to try to live similar to a Snake Grenade, but Grizhawk just immediately getting back to work on that edge guard and forcing that early stock with the eject button hammer. So again, evening things back up after what looked like a really rough first stock.
Once again, though, the stocks were evened up relatively soon. Even though Ashton had a considerable lead, especially compared to the previous 2 games, Grizhawk was able to find that opening, and that's really been the difference maker in this set here. Now we see Grizhawk getting Ashton off stage. Ashton able to use the can to get back on, but gets hit by the Mecha Koopa, almost gets hit by the out-of-cart fair. Doesn't quite, though, so now we're kind of returning to neutral here, both at equal percents, throwing their projectiles at one another. But if you're going to play that game, neutral B from Wendy does a lot more than, side B from Duck Hunt. So you can only play that game for so long until you get hit with the Koopa Cart, untechable, on the bottom of PS2. Such a weird place to get hit, and lose your second stock. And now it's Grizhawk who's trying to find a big combo, almost gets it, doesn't quite pull the trigger though. I think the alignment was just a little bit off. Both players going for an up smash. But now, I mean, gosh, the snowball has begun. Is it even possible for Ashton to make this back at this point? Now that it's gone from Ashton has the lead but can't close to now Grizhawk has the lead and has proven their ability to close?
It's tough, especially with how consistent Grizhawk has been in these edgeguard scenarios. Just really needs one more advantage state to force Ashton off stage. Ashton trying to keep his feet on, but that up air actually going to take it on the platform.
You had to be like DIing